Is Felger and Mazz your favorite afternoon show?
Yes, 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 yes.
Felger and Mazz.
Mitchell waiting on a 2-1. And a line drive to left field down for a base hit. Turang will round. Anthony fires. Very poor throw. Keeps on rolling. Here comes another run. Yelich around. Play at the plate. The tag. He's safe. Now play at third, but no throw. And it is 7-5 Milwaukee.
You know, this ball by Mitchell was hit out to Roman. He had a nice little break on it, too. Caught it on that one hop. It's just that this throw was way offline. But this is more about the throw here to the plate in the first time.
And right now ruled a base hit and an E7.
You know, Roman kind of DH'd a few days, and Cora was talking about working with Huddy, working on his throwing, trying to iron out some things. But you see where he catches this baseball. Drake's not even at third base yet. This throw is low, way offline.
Well, the last signature play of that game last night, a 2-run single by the Brewers that featured another hideous throw by Roman Anthony and a failure to back up home plate by a pitcher that led to, well, first and second, 2 outs, a routine line drive to left field, which at Fenway Park, for most teams, most offensive teams and most Red Sox teams, that's the runner isn't even going around second base. He's not even trying to score. Turang's not even at third base when Roman Anthony fields the ball in short left field. And not only does Turang come home, but Christian Yelich comes home behind him, and it's a 2-run single to left field at Fenway Park with runners on first and second, which you'd almost never see.
Right. It's borderline unprecedented. In fact, it may be unprecedented.
Your thoughts?
So clearly there's something wrong with Roman Anthony because we've seen way too many of these in the early part of the year. And Murray, when you said to me at one point about Roman Anthony's throwing, and Mike, maybe it was you, one of you guys said it.
No, I think it was me after the Red Series.
Murray's been on it from day one.
Okay, and when you said, do you remember him throwing, I think the way you said it was, do you remember him throwing like that last year? My answer was no. And you know why? Because I don't think he was. At least not like this. And so now you're asking me my assessment, and we'll start with the actual Roman Anthony problem. I think it's in his head. I think he's a mental case. And I started to really feel this way when I watched his postgame last night because he's beaten himself up now after these games. And I'm going back to the series over the weekend against San Diego. The last couple of times he has addressed the media, he is beating himself up.
Want to hear it real quick since we're referencing it? Here's Roman. You can just pick whatever, Jimmy. Roman Anthony last night on that final throw.
It was a terrible throw again, so didn't have a shot with that throw, and got to be better. It's terrible.
Give me one more. We had to turn up the volume on this because he was speaking so low.
I'm doing everything I can pregame, and I think just struggling to get a grip. But I mean, at the end of the day, there's no excuse. It's terrible. It's bad baseball, and it's on me.
Okay, Mazz?
Okay, so now I commend him for being stand-up and being accountable for it after the game, and that's a good sign. Like, I think, by all accounts, Roman Anthony's got good character, good makeup. I don't think that this is a makeup issue. I think it's in his head, and I think part of the reason it's in his head is because he has been thrust into a position that he shouldn't be thrust in, at least not yet. Don't you find it odd that a 21-year-old with less than a half season in the big leagues, I shouldn't say that's a little more than that actually, but roughly a half season in the big leagues, is all of a sudden become the face of the Red Sox and the spokesman for the Red Sox after defeats? Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
That's a bad sign.
Feels quick.
Bad sign to put that kid in that spot.
And he is a kid. He's 21 years old. This was something like if there were, when we talked about them before the season started, things that might potentially go wrong here. People were right to bring up, is it maybe too much pressure to put on a 21-year-old Roman Anthony to be the face of the franchise? Yes, I think we're seeing that in real time.
And so I am really starting to wonder about the damage they are doing to their longer-term future beyond 2026. And maybe that's a separate story. Maybe it's tied into the same thing. But I think there's a real problem here. And when you start to look at, they are effing this thing up so badly, it isn't even funny.
What do you mean by this?
And I'm going back to the beginning here with When Dave Dombrowski left, they brought in Chaim Bloom to rebuild the organization. They then had to get rid of Bloom after 4 years. Now they're in 3 years of Breslow. We have been waiting all this time, Mike, for Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, Kyle Teal. The whole thing was about this group. They introduced them together at Worcester when they got there. The whole thing was this was the future. And then last year was this is the year they're going to arrive. They arrived. The team made the playoffs. Roman Anthony looked like the real thing until he hurt his oblique muscle. The whole thing looked like it was ready to take off. And they had a bad offseason that left them without any real leadership in the clubhouse, and now they've thrown these kids into the deep end of the pool. Christian Campbell is already maybe wrecked and back in the minor leagues. Marcelo Meyer had the manager up his ass all of spring training. Roman Anthony now has the yips in the outfield. Has Brian Bayo gotten better? Because I don't think he really has. Jaron Duran was brought here probably 2 years or a year and a half before he should have been in the big leagues and couldn't track a fly ball when he got to Boston. I think you can go up and down that roster. Caleb Durbin, who's admittedly like 26 or however old he is a little bit older, but he was a rookie last year. Now being thrust into a situation at Fenway Park where he's replacing Alex Bregman. How has he dealt with it in the early part of the year?
Poorly.
I think they've put all these guys in horrible spots. Horrible spots. They're not being raised or introduced to the major leagues in a positive, winning environment. They're being put into a losing environment where it is being thrust on them to deliver success. And that is not just a recipe for short-term failure. It's a recipe for long-term failure. This is a problem. They have talented kids that they're either misevaluating or effing up.
Or it's part of the effing up part. I mean, go back to Roman Anthony last year when he first got up here, and you're looking at these drills, defensive drills, and it's what, you didn't really tell him to worry about the fundamentals? Just worry about what you do at the plate. They're not teaching these kids the right way. I think that's evident.
And remember, when he came up last year, they had to do drills with him in the outfield on his second day in the big leagues.
Fielding drills.
Right. I say in the outfield, but you know what I mean, pregame.
How to field a grounder in the outfield taking a knee.
Right. So are these guys ready? Like, are they really ready? Now, Roman Anthony as a hitter looks pretty polished, even despite the slow start. So I will say in the batter's box, yes. Marcelo Meyer, maybe no, in the batter's box. So they're not fully there, and maybe no rookies are. But to be in the spot they're in right now, in this market, 2-8, having to answer questions after the game, and what worries me is the track record of some of the people behind him. I don't feel like Brian Bayo has really gotten all that much better. I feel he's pretty much the same guy he was when he got here.
Yeah, let's never hear the term Baby Pedro ever again. That's been ridiculous, but now more than ever.
I think he's backslid. I don't think he's the same. I think he's backslid.
Okay, so
I think
there
he
you
was better
go.
Last year.
Yeah, when you start looking at them, you say, are they
improving,
putting these kids in the right spot?
They don't know how to nurture young talent. They're not bringing it along. They're throwing them to the wolves. That is a developing story.
Holy mackerel.
I mean, even before Roman Anthony spoke last night, I don't know how long you watched after it ended.
I watched most of it.
That dugout emptied. He sat there shell-shocked. It was kind of like jarring to look at. Like, oh boy, like this is weighing this kid down.
Then, Mazz, you worry about these guys sort of being all over the place.
So this is another thing, like when you watch them now, this is a 2026 problem, okay? Contreras is fighting his own little battle on the field.
Right. Didn't he duck the media the last couple days?
I think so.
After some bad games, I think.
He did leave one of the games without talking to the media, yes.
So you would say that, to tie in your first point, Mazz, that you offer some protection for these young kids where they're not being thrown to the wolves, they're not being asked to lead and speak for the team, and it's a tough spot to put these guys. So you have those leaders on top of them that handle that, like Bregman would have or Bogarts would have. So you would ordinarily say William Contreras would be that guy. He's been in the league a long time. He's won a championship, etc. Except Wilson Contreras is nowhere to be found until he's got his own personal itch to scratch.
Correct.
So we heard from him last night about his own thing, but where was he the previous week to take some of these bullets for the young guys.
Right.
He ducked out.
Non-existent. And I think there's a lot of this going on with this team at the moment. So Anthony's having throwing problems. Contreras did what you just said and is now feuding with the Brewers. Garrett Whitlock just returned from the birth of his child on his first night back and thrown in the 8th inning and gives the game up. And I think this is they're all fighting individual battles. Are they fighting together for the cause? Is there anybody there to say, guys, leave it at the door. We got to win the game. The goal is to win the game. Is there anybody saying that? Is there anybody giving them any sort of direction, whether it's Cora, someone in the clubhouse? Is anybody saying, guys, leave your bull crap off the field? Once the game starts, the goal is to win. Caleb Durbin, 0 for 19 to start the year, so he's in his little world. Whitlock's in his little world. Contreras is in his little world. Every guy fighting his own battle, and they're getting their asses kicked when they play the competition. Is that really a surprise when everybody is really in their own little bubble? I mean, to me, they are completely scattershot. They are all over the place, and it reflects in the quality of the product on the field because right now they blow.
Finally, the sell the team chants continue to grow, Murray. That amuses you?
Yeah, and nothing's going to happen, but I like that the owner's hearing it, and John Henry was there last night, and now there's this viral clip of him mouthing, oh, sell the team, and he does like a little eye roll with it. So he's there, he heard it, and it was very much a Simpsons reference here, but are they booing me, Smithers? So, the rich guy hearing this, is this what I'm hearing? But he wasn't incredulous or mad about it. It was like, oh, sell the team. Like that's ever going to happen. It's frustrating to see, but that's the reality. He's not going to do it. But keep on him. Keep saying this as long as they keep sucking like this.
Yeah, look, and I think Barstool's driving a lot of this. They've had T-shirts printed up like the whole thing. Portnoy's really been on it. So it's on, social media and what have you. But I don't think they understand the magnitude of their problem over there. I don't think they understand it. I don't understand this. I don't think they understand the spot that they've put Roman Anthony in particular in. This is wholly and grossly unfair what they're doing to this kid. He is a special talent by all accounts, offensively at least. And to thrust him into this spot with a bunch of losers, because that's really what this team has become, is a bunch of losers, is really risking damaging his development as a player and damaging his confidence in the organization. And I don't mean that he can leave or anything like that. I just mean that if he doesn't believe in it, do you think you're going to get his best?
Those are some of our leadoff thoughts. What are yours to you right after these words?
Felger and Mazz continue on the Sports Hub.
Ground ball right side. Will it get through? No. Friendly bounder. Duran will throw him out. And the Red Sox have lost again. And the game was full of fire for half of it. Ended with a bit of a whimper. And the Red Sox are 2-8. Which has an awful ring to it heading into Game 2 tomorrow night.
Well, you're just finding different ways to lose ball games right now. It's a grind on everybody, including those guys in that clubhouse, trying to find some answers. But the last couple of nights, you've done enough offensively. There's been signs offensively. It's just the starting pitching. You need some shutdown innings when you have some big leads. You got to go out there and put up some zeros. And it's just you're unable to get it, and you're allowing teams back into ball games, and it's costing you.
It's supposed to be a big strength of the Red Sox. It has not been anything but. Only the fourth time in 80 years the Red Sox have lost 8 of their first 10.
Jake and Haverhill. Hi, Jake.
Mazz, you hit the nail on the head there, brother. They're just going to sit there, and they're going to bleed this Roman Anthony kid dry. They're going to sit there. They're going to make their stupid bobbleheads. They're going to sit there. They're going to make every little advertisement out of them, and then they're going to bleed them dry until there's nothing left. That's all this ownership group cares about. All they care about is making money. They don't care about the team. I was at the game last night, and I felt like I was watching a circus. I was freezing my nuts off, and it wasn't even good baseball.
Okay, let me stop you there. How was John Henry to blame for last night?
Well, I mean...
Was it lack of spending last night?
No.
So I think last night was a contrast in well-run organizations. Mm-hmm. You're not a well-run baseball organization. Mm-hmm. You don't teach your guys how to play baseball. And the other side doesn't have Brewers aren't any more talented than you. Probably less.
Definitely less.
But they know how to play. So I think the beef with John Henry last night is who have you hired to run your organization, and how do you teach baseball? What does your organization stand for? I mean, you've asked it a million times. What's the identity of the big league club? The Brewers definitely have one.
Yeah, they do.
Put the bat on the ball and run like little rabbits. Try hard. Try hard. That's what they do. What are the Red Sox? Are they power? Are they pitching? Are they defense?
None of those things.
Are they contact and running the base? What are they?
None of those. I mean, they don't know. And look, if you like on this part of it, Cora is a bad fit for this kind of team. I mean, in this organization, I guess. If you want to play the style you're talking about, Cora's the wrong guy. Not that because he can't do it, but because he's a big league, he's a big market mentality. He wants talent. He wants to compete with the big boys. The Brewers accept the fact that they're not. Cora won't accept that. He can't accept that. He has trouble with it.
They think they're a power hitting team the way that they swing out of their ass. I put this in the email. Like, you now use David Hamilton as an example. He already has 9 walks on the season. Grinded out a couple last night. He played 91 games last year and walked 13 times. How many times was David Hamilton swinging out of his ass? He had terrible on-base percentage. It's the approach. It's their whole... So, again, John Henry doesn't have much to do with that. It's all these geeks that they've hired.
Well, it's he's hired. So that's what... There's 2 things you get on an owner for. Who they hire and what they spend.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. Like, that's all... You can say, well, do they meddle or not? Frankly, if you do the first 2 things well, it doesn't matter if you meddle. If you spend what it takes and hire good people, that everything else takes care of itself.
Yep.
Only 2 things to judge an owner on, as far as I'm concerned. And I think who he's hired has sucked. And the organization is not a well-run baseball organization. I'm sure they make money and are a good, business organization, baseball organization. Just ask yourself, what kind of team are they building?
Good question.
You can't tell.
No one knows. No one knows. And Mike,
I mean, it's a good point, Murray. Like they said run prevention, so you would think that that's more putting the ball in play, that kind of offense. Yet
bunting, if you have to, grinding out walks.
David Hamilton bunted for a hit early in that game last night.
And
did he ever do that here?
No.
Really?
Oh, and Lou.
Did you say that, or you said
I put that in the email. Like he also he bunted last night. I was like, David Hamilton.
He bunted for a hit. He sacrificed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lou, as a Brewer fan, the tongue bath he gave my team all night, it was orgasmic. But I don't think Lou was just doing that to stroke the Brewers. I think he was doing it to needle. I think Lou was all over the Red Sox last night in the way that he praised the Brewers. And it started when Hamilton bunted for a hit earlier in the game. Lou said immediately, they were trying to get him to hit home runs. He said that immediately. Lou said when Hamilton was here last year, we kept saying, why didn't this guy lay down a bunt? Because he's fast as hell. So why didn't he lay down some bunts? They were having him hit home runs here, is what he said. Then when the Brewers sacrificed in the 4th to move runners over, Lou said the front office here would tell you that's a dumb play. But it creates tension. It creates chaos. It created 4 runs. Lou, at one point, I started jotting this down. I didn't pull all the sound because I didn't want to subject you to it. But he said, we started going over where the Brewers ranked. They're 3rd in runs, 1st in chase rate, meaning the best chase rate. Only 2 guys hit more than 20 home runs last year. He said, here, they're trying to find these home run hitters and striking out, finding these home run hitters. You don't have to hit home runs to have a great offense, he said. He pointed out the last 2 innings, they put up 5 runs and haven't struck out. He points out they've walked 8 guys, 5 of them have scored. He says, at one point, you get to the postseason, you ask a team to hit for contact, lay down a bunt, move runners over. This team, meaning the Brewers, do it all season long. They do it for 97 wins. Maybe you should ask your team to do it a little sooner. He kept going, he just kept, saying this about the Brewers. And what he was really doing was talking to the Red Sox.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he, like everybody else, doesn't get the way they don't play baseball. So I did grab just one. This is Lou in the 9th inning, just talking about how the Brewers came back in this game.
It just sort of feels like Bill Murph over there just kind of being rewarded for playing a game. Right?
Yes.
Moving runners, we mentioned before, they were down 3, 1st and 2nd, nobody out. They bunted. Down 3 early in the game. There isn't a computer in the world that tells you that's a smart play, but put pressure on the team, ended up getting up 4. Just what they do.
What they did to the tune of 97 wins last year.
That's all them speaking to the Red Sox.
Yeah, totally. Again, and it's because the way the Red Sox do it completely takes all the situational stuff out of play. They go by the numbers as to what the percentages say.
4th inning, down 3, runners on 1st and 2nd, nobody out. They bunted the runners over to play for 2 runs. And Lou says there's not a computer in baseball that would tell you to do that. He's talking to the Red Sox. He's talking to how they manage their team and how they play. And I thought it was excellent. Subtle, but excellent. Arlo and Mazz. Go ahead, Arlo.
I just have a couple of things to say. I want to ask you, do you think Cora can be the manager for the rest of the season? And then what is the feeling of this Red Sox team moving forward?
You want to answer those, Mazz?
Yeah, I mean, could he be the manager for the rest of the year? Yes. Do I think he's in jeopardy of being fired if this continues? My answer is yes. Because he's got 1 more year on his contract after this. They're going to have to revisit it after the year anyway. And so this would be the kind of year that gets you fired. I think the timing has hit that stage from a contractual standpoint. So if it goes like this, what would I do if I were them? I'd fire him and move on.
Right now?
No, I said, if this thing were to persist, past a certain point. So, I don't, if they want to play Brewers style of baseball, Cora's the wrong guy. I think Cora, wants to encourage that, but I also don't know that if they're an 85-win team and they can't compete with the Yankees and whoever else in the American League, the Blue Jays that are big market teams, Cora wants a big market team and he wants to play for championships.
Still, they don't have to be this stupid. Back to David Hamilton, who sucks. He sucks. He's not a major league hitter. You walked him twice.
He's 4 walks off from his total last year. He's played 7 games, I think it is, or whatever the hell it is.
Amazing.
So he gets to Milwaukee, and they just say simply, you kind of suck, like a lot of us.
Yeah, right.
So you're only going to swing at strikes. You're going to take walks. You're going to put the ball on the ground. You're going to bunt, and you're going to run your little balls off. Yeah, that's your only path. Here they had him launch angle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're the Red Sox, you know he sucks. You know there's only one way he can hurt you.
By running.
Is on the base pass. And you walk him twice?
Mm-hmm.
That is so bad.
Yeah, it is.
I can't tell you.
But this is who they are. They're a stupid team, Mike.
So they're not
stupid.
Well, so they're not. This is Cora. You're right. He's the wrong match for this team. But that's on someone over there.
Sure it is.
It's like, guys.
So it's driveline a-holes.
But specifically, this is the pitching coach. This is Cora. This is just 101. The scouting report. Don't let that guy on the base pass. You don't let him bunt for a hit. The third baseman should be in his jock, and you throw him strikes.
Yeah, but the numbers will say that you are more likely to give up a hit if you come in.
Oh, my God.
See, but this is what I'm getting at. They don't play situationally. They don't. It's asinine. The whole thing's asinine. They're a dumb team. They're a dumb organization.
And what's their ceiling? I mean, there's just troubling numbers. 57 teams in the wild card era have started 2-7 or worse with a minus 15 run differential or worse. Of those 57 teams, 54 of them missed the postseason. Not a single one advanced to the World Series. There's a million stats like this out there. Teams that start 2-8, teams that start 2-7, teams with this run differential. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean it's over, but it means the odds are stacked against you. And why? One is math. It's hard to overcome a bad start for some reason. But I think it's more along the lines of the thing we mentioned yesterday, Mazz. Good teams just don't have bad stretches.
Not like this.
They have maybe a 3-game losing streak here or there. Maybe there's a couple week stretch where they just sort of tread water. But if you're a really good team, you don't have really bad stretches typically. And that, I think...
Or have starts like this where you're booting the ball all over the place. Looks all disjointed.
Yeah, there's also a difference between losses and bad losses. You know what I mean? Like when you play at a level that they're playing at. Again, what are they doing well? What do they do well?
Blow games.
Nothing.
No, they don't do anything well.
No, they really don't. There's nothing. There's nothing they do well. They don't hit. They don't field. They don't pitch. Their bullpen's now blowing games on top of it. At the plate, they don't strike. They don't control the strike zone. So they don't force you to throw strikes. They strike out a lot, and they don't hit home runs. What do they do well? Zippo.
We continue with your thoughts. Mazz also wants a second swing at Geno Auriemma. We'll take one breather from bashing the Red Sox to bash Geno after Big Jim Murray gets you updated here. Wee! Goalie fight.
Felger.
Wee! look at the goalie fight.
Whoa.
Mazz.
Oh, my God.
Murray.
He sucks in the playoffs.
That's great. No.
98.5.
Wonderful. Good.
The Sports Hub.
I know you described yourselves as rivals, but off the court, is there any kind of relationship between you two?
No, not really. We don't have a lot in common. I mean, Dawn was my assistant on the Olympic team, and we've been coaching against each other for a long, long time, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for what she's done in South Carolina. And I remember when she got there, and the program had basically fallen off the map. So for her to take her program and take it to where it is right now, I have a tremendous amount of respect for that.
That was after the game?
I think so. I'll double check it.
Well, anyway, you wanted another shot at Geno.
So look, the comment was, again, this goes on top of we don't have a lot in common. What? You don't have a lot in common? And I'm adding it on top of everything that happened because I did such an atrocious job of it yesterday in terms of, again, I thought that he was upset about the handshake after the game. It was before the game. So I want to get it right. Okay, so let's get it right. He, first of all, as it turns out, he was allegedly upset that she did not shake his hand before the game. She did. There's video of it. That's number one. Secondly, it's really ultimately about him being a poor sport and unable to take the fact that she beat his ass in the national semifinals, and that's what South Carolina did. They beat UConn's ass. 14 points, which for an undefeated team like that is an ass kicking, and that's what happened. And then to sit there and say, we don't have a lot in common, is Chris Gasper put it this way in his column today, and he put it way better than I ever could. Auriemma publicly denigrated Staley's standing as an equal, insulted her integrity, and detracted from her team's success. Strike one, strike two, strike three. Absolutely right down the middle. That's exactly what he did. Then he has the audacity, or whatever that interview was, to say we don't have a lot in common. You've won 12 national championships and been to 24 Final Fours, you a-hole. You know how tough it should be, although relatively speaking, you had it pretty easy as the coach of UConn when you got the best players in women's basketball all the time, won 4 straight national titles in 6 and 8 years during the peak of your career. Now, I think you have one in like the last close to 10 years. He won in 2025. Prior to that was in 2016, I think. So it's really just one title in a long time. Could it be that he's just pissed off that another program in the country really overtook his as the preeminent women's program in America, even though they get smoked by UCLA? They've won 3 national titles here in the last 5 or 6 years, and she kicked your ass in the game. Could that be what really the issue is, Geno? So I just think the worst kinds of people to me are the ones that start believing their own bullcrap. That your resume expands, you've had a lot of success, really because you've had the best players. In most of the years you won, you have been a prohibitive favorite to win the national championship because you had the best players. But you want to walk around thinking it's you, like you invented the game, when the fact of the matter is there will be someone else to replace you, just like there is someone to replace everybody else that ever walks the planet. So you know what? When you start acting like an a-hole, you know what happens? You get your ass beat like one. He got everything he deserved in this. I have so little respect for that guy, not as a coach. You can tell me he's a good coach, and I won't dispute it. But as human character, like dignity, tact, I'm not sure he has any. Like, I think what he did after the game was one of the most tactless a-hole moves that I think you can see in sports when a coach who's supposed to set a standard for his program turns his back on the opposing coach and, by the way, the opposing players. Gutless. Absolutely gutless.
So that cut was from April 3rd, which was Friday, which was, I think, the semifinal game. I'm just curious when it was because I don't know why I was under the impression that was a couple days later.
Oh, did I mention she was on his staff during the Olympics?
Yeah, well, he did. He mentioned that at one point. I think he mentioned it there.
So you have nothing in common with her? You
right.
both coach.
Right.
Powerful women's basketball program. What more do you want to have in common? Do you want to go hiking together?
I think the worst part was him not putting her name in the statement.
Brutal.
Like that is so like what I guess what I'm trying to drive at, why it was important when that comment came, is because I mean, not that I'm giving him a break, but there's one thing about, well, everyone deserves a bad day or a bad moment, or we all have them. You just get bitchy, you get small, and you just sort of give into it, and you act like a jerk. And then you think about it, and the next day you say, I was a jerk. And you atone the right way. He hasn't even atoned the right way, is sort of by not putting her in that statement, I thought, so this is a long way of saying. Apologizing to the staff, but not her, in the written statement the next day, I thought was the worst part of the whole thing.
This guy's a coward. He's a bully.
You had a whole day to sleep on it, wake up, and then do the right thing the next day, and you still couldn't bring yourself to do it. So, small. Just got a little wiener. It's okay, Geno. Some of us just got small penises, and you're one of them. That's it.
And I knew I read it somewhere. It was in Gasper's column where he said that press conference was after the game.
It was.
So, I just think he's gutless, if you ask me. Gutless.
All right, there's a follow-up on Geno Auriemma. Back to the Red Sox and whatever you want in our long commercial-free segment next. Sean and Lawrence. Go, Sean.
You keep saying, I didn't actually watch the game, whether it's Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, whatever. Isn't your job as a talk show host to actually watch sports?
So I would say my job is to get you to listen.
That is the job.
Mission accomplished.
Take this job and shove. Felger and Mazz, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
That's how it works, and that's why we love it here, right? Because their expectations are up there with us, and right now, we deserve whatever they're thinking, or we're not playing good baseball, and we know it.
The Red Sox do typically react to fan discontent.
They do.
So, and Henry can get emotional about it. Like who'd they sign after he got hooted at the
Devers.
fan?
They gave Devers the extension after he got booed at the Winter Classic.
Was it the Winter Classic?
Yeah.
Yes, he got booed at the Winter Classic. So that was it.
Yep.
So he doesn't feel like he's emotional, but he will react emotionally. So your chanting "sell the team" and all this is going to result in something.
Yeah, the emotional moves have been the Devers one, Trevor Story, and last year with Bregman. He hears it, and remember, now here I am with my cool cigar. That'll
right,
show
exactly.
him.
So you'll get something out of it. I don't know what it is.
And also, he had a thing in Liverpool. Remember after that whole Super League? Remember they wanted to do the and he issued a video apology to the fan base there.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I think he recognizes when the feathers are ruffled.
So interesting to see what the reaction is here. Back to your phones. Ian in New Bedford. Hi, Ian.
What's up, guys? Not to cross sports, but honestly, it just feels like Wilson Contreras gives me Kyle Van Noy vibes. I mean, after he spiked David Hamilton last night, that game completely flipped. The team's missing a real leader. I just think about Roman Anthony's comment during the World Baseball Classic about missing Alex Bregman. This team is sorely missing him, not statistically, but a real leader in the clubhouse. Thanks, guys.
So lack of toughness. And one of them said it in the postgame, on the Nesson postgame, that William Contreras engaged and no one followed him. And I have more on Contreras here in a second. I've saved all of it for 3 o'clock. I got a bunch of thoughts on William Contreras. But as in terms of the Red Sox side of it, the story is how they responded. Because as soon as that whole kerfuffle happened there in the third inning, I wrote it down. I said, let's see how they respond, how either side responds. You know how the Red Sox, how Brian Bayo responded?
He was on his game last night, wasn't he?
Well, so it's now 3-0, top of the fourth inning. The building just woke up. You just rallied for 2 runs. Everyone's up. Contreras is engaged. Everyone's engaged. Everyone's sparked. Everyone's ready to go. 3-0. Here you go, Brian Bayo. Frelick reaches on an infield single. Hamilton, 5-pitch walk. Sacrifice. Turang, 4-pitch walk to load the bases. Caleb Durbin, error, scores 1. That's it for Bayo. Colomb comes in.
Colomb, yep.
Infield single. Durbin couldn't come up with that one either. Scores another one. 4-pitch walk. Scores another one. And then you got Rengifo to ground into that double play. That was like a 13-pitch at bat. So your pitchers, Bayo specifically, melted down. David Hamilton, 5-pitch walk. The guy sucks. Throw him strikes. You're walking Hamilton? That's just weak-ass stuff right there, Mazz. Weak team.
Yeah, look, and again, Bayo was all over the place. How many pitches did he have when he left? How did he finish with?
I didn't have the number, but I thought it was in the 80s almost.
Yeah, it was in the 80s. I'm pretty sure of it. He was all over the place.
4 walks.
Yeah, all 86 pitches in 3 1/3. 3 1/3.
But that inning specifically.
It just speaks to mentality, too, is what I'm getting at.
But the top of the 4th, you had the bottom of the Brewers lineup, which stinks.
And a 3-0 lead.
And your William Contreras had just engaged and gave the whole building a jolt. The whole building, the whole bench, the whole game took on a vibe right there. And you have a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the Brewers' order. And you make one out, and it was a sacrifice. And you get pulled. That right there tells you all you need to know about Brian Bayo. Pete in the car. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, hey, you asked the question, what kind of team are the Red Sox? I think if you go back to, through their mouthpiece, Alex Spear, last year they told us how they reinvented hitting with driveline. This spring training, they told us how their pitchers spent the whole fall in their pitching lab with pitch shape and spin rates and how they're revolutionizing that. But the truth is, a year ago, they used a consulting firm to purge their baseball operations and player development staffs. And it got very little play, kind of just hidden under they cut a bloated front office. But the truth is, they eradicated a lot of teachers in their baseball player development levels. And so we're left with a team that cares mostly about exit velocity, launch angle, and spin rate.
That's right.
Yep, you got it.
And at the major league level, the team has no identity.
Yep, zero.
No one can tell me how they play. There's no specific way that they play, other than poorly. Just lacking fundamentals. Billy and Raynham. Go, Billy. Billy! Okay, you can call us back. You obviously know the number. Bob and Needham. Hi, Bob.
Yeah, let me stick to my call line and be quick. Felger, if they want to follow this Milwaukee, Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Arizona model, that's fine. But cut the prices of the game day experience by 33%. Don't tell me you can't spend any money. I told Mazz last night on the Baseball Hour, Don Dombrowski was the last guy that could walk into the room with John Henry and say, hey, we have to spend money if you want a winning team. If you don't want to spend any money, I'm going to trade the prospects like he did and get better players so we can try to win something this year. Not 10 years from now. This year we can win one.
Okay, so I'm just going to... Spending is not the issue last night. You outspend the Brewers by like $100 million.
Right, it's not even close.
Philosophy is the problem last night.
So the spending gives you some room for error. When you make mistakes, you can just spend your way out of it. And so, but last night, you again, I don't know exactly what the discrepancy is in payroll, but it's probably around $100 million.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
So that's not why you lost last night, because you don't know how to play the game.
Correct. And they haven't for some time.
So that's sort of today's thing. I mean, you want to get on spending. I'm all for it. I just don't think that was the issue in a game like last night. And frankly, some of these. You've lost to Cincinnati, who you outspend by $100 million probably. You lose to the Brewers last night, who you outspend by $100 million. I don't know what Houston's payroll is. It's probably closer to yours. But you see what I'm driving at. You're more talented and spend more than these teams that you're losing to. You're losing them because you don't know how to play.
If you're going by tax payroll, the Red Sox are almost double what the Brewers are.
So, money's not really the issue last night. Dan in Boston. Go ahead, Dan.
Top of the 4th, you said the first guy up had an infield single. That was a grounder to Marcelo Meyer. He was covering the wrong side of the bag. There was a left-handed hitter.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be in the hole getting that ball. Instead, he runs to the bag. That ball goes through that side of the infield.
You're thinking of a different play.
Okay, either way. Camera cuts to Cora. He has this, disgust look on his face of, what are you doing? You're doing. They can't back up throws where they're supposed to. There were 3 times where the pitcher should have either run over to first base to help the first baseman. You had Contreras last night taking a keeper when the pitcher didn't even run over. You want to talk about head up your butt and not really know what the hell is going on? Just right there, fundamental baseball. They look like a bunch of JV players, and they got schooled last night. They absolutely got schooled, and there's absolutely no accountability for that right now, and I'd love to see some.
They don't play the game well.
They're dumb.
They don't play the game. And he called it out on the final Anthony throw. It's easy to call out the arm because that is just like, what is up with that guy and his arm? Jesus. But the whole play. Here's Cora postgame. Jimmy, give me Cora postgame on the Anthony throw, please.
Obviously, it wasn't a good throw. Witt didn't back up. That has happened, I think, twice this week. That we're just watching the play. And when the ball is hit, we got to go somewhere. The only people that can watch is the people in the stands. And obviously, they're not too happy.
With Roman's throwing, are you guys sure that he's healthy?
100%.
Do you think maybe he's in his head a little bit about it?
I don't think so. It's mechanics.
So that's on the throw. But Witt didn't back up. Second time it happened this week.
It did. It happened over the weekend, too.
Chapman.
Yep.
Chapman didn't do it the other night. Whitlock didn't do it yesterday. Durbin, I think Jim Rice did a good job in the postgame. I'll tell you, Jim Rice, this guy's grown on me. He's salty. And Papelbon, salty. Those two guys are pretty good. They get on the team. It's pleasant to hear. And again, I think between Lou subtly taking shots at the Red Sox all night with his Brewers commentary, and then Rice and Papelbon. But anyway, Rice says, Durbin, watch Durbin on the throw. Durbin's a cutoff. Anthony misses him, but Durbin with a half-ass effort to try and get that throw. That's why it goes to the backstop, because Whitlock isn't backing up, but Durbin can still cut it off. Durbin could have dove, left his feet, gotten on the ground to get that hideous throw, and he didn't. He just sort of waved at it, and that's one of the reasons it goes to the backstop. It's just first and second, a line drive to left field scores 2? That's so bad.
No, you can't get any closer to home plate in a major league stadium than left field at Fenway Park.
I mean, any other teams, that's bases loaded, 2 outs. Mm-hmm. The Brewers just run because they have to, so they'll run in that spot, whether they have the book on Anthony or not. Something told me they had the book on Anthony. The guy can't throw.
He basically threw it into the Brewers' dugout.
But that is just so 2-run score on that. How does that?
It's crazy.
How does 1 run score? Never mind 2.
Ineptitude.
So
and stupid. They were a stupid baseball team. They swing at pitches out of the strike zone. They throw the ball all over the place. They don't throw enough strikes. They don't swing at enough strikes. They're a stupid baseball team.
Let me get to Wilson Contreras. I got some thoughts on this. After Murray's 90-second update, no commercials here.